alluded to during your presentation. Nevertheless, the floor is open to the honorable members. You want to ask your supplementary question? We are with time, plus please minimize those of our question has to be of essence and is of relevant to the subject area that we discussed this afternoon. Honorable members.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My question is in regards to the compliance part. Those higher education institutions registered with Fiji Higher Education Commission, whether they are complying with the requirements in order to qualify for the grants each year. We had some, there was a mention of some issues in the earlier presentation and the report which we got earlier on, and even during when we visited your office at the Higher Education Commission in Suva. So whether all the institutions are complying to the requirements as per Fiji Higher Education Commission. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, sir, and members of the honorable members of the committee, thank you so much. The grants to our institutions, I guess, from Honorable Pillay. We have a process that we give grants to all the higher education institutions. The process, one of which is the institution must be fully registered. So there are criteria involved in the registration of institutions. A total of 12 altogether recognition, which is the first stage of quality assuring a higher education institution coming on board, and then registration is critical, which comes with a program that they need. If an institution has not been given the full registration status, meaning either provisional registration, then that particular institution is not qualifying based on the funding, the formula of the grant to be given to all the 49 registered higher education institutions in Fiji and are registered. So all these criteria, that's one of the criteria. The team might be able to tell you more about the other criteria, but all the criteria are scrutinized and then it's submitted through to from Secretary of Education through the line minister before it goes to the Ministry of Finance for endorsement approval. But it has to go through the Commission first for the endorsement, ensuring that all the rigor in terms of the process and the quality are adopted within the Commission before a grant is given out. So there are two actually. One is the operational grant and the capital grant. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Just in supporting that question by my friend Honorable Pillay, just for the benefit of the committee, Director, for a small country like Fiji, how many higher education institutions do we have in total?
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairman, sir, and honorable members of the committee. We have a total of 49 registered higher education institutions in Fiji, including our 3 universities. We have a 4th university coming up, which has been provisionally registered as of this year, which is the former Pacific Theological College. Now it's the Pacifica Communities Universities. There's also applications on the table for us in the office for Fulton College. Fulton is now a Fulton Adventist University College. So they are applying for a full-fledged university. Now, there's a rig in the process. To move from a college to university is not that easy. They have to be able to do research, they have to be able to do publication, they have to do all the stuff and all the facilities and equipment, staffing. So one cannot deliver a master's if a master graduate is teaching that particular course. So if you are delivering a master's qualification, you have to be, the faculty or lecturer has to be a PhD holder. And hence, the process to be able to gain the status of a full-fledged university is quite rigorous, quite tough. So all those, including the current 3 universities, they've been through that. They've been through all the registration. USP took them 2.5 years during the under review for registration. FNU, almost 3.5 years. Fiji, almost 3 years. Just for information.
Thank you, Director. With respect to a core essence of your work is accreditation, right? How many institutions or the lessons that they teach are accredited in a country? Or probably for our understanding, when you say accreditation, what do you mean? In the context of Fiji.
I get our program officer,
Yes,
Annie,
yes.
to have anybody to respond to that,
What do
sir.
you mean accreditation in the context of Fiji?
Thank you very much, sir. In terms of accreditation, we look at the standard of the program and how it's being delivered, if it is appropriate to the nature of the qualification.
What about if some want to take their degrees here and go and work in Australia, in New Zealand? Is that part of the work that you do?
So, sir, when they take their qualification from Fiji and they go overseas, the respective country has a similar regulatory agency like ours.
Yeah.
So what they do is they would go through the process of recognizing a qualification from Fiji, and likewise we also do the same when someone studies from abroad, and they come and maybe to do further studies or work here.
Okay. Are the lessons taught in our universities accredited?
So the universities are self-accrediting, and they go through the recording process. So, but before they go through the recording process with HEC, they need to complete their own internal quality assurance processes. So they have to complete that, and then they submit their qualifications for recording.
Yeah, because this is one of my concerns. This was raised to me by the Minister of Agriculture, current minister, who is actually doctor for animals. What do you call them?
Veterinary.
They don't do those kind of lessons that they used to do before, like for FNU now. Am I correct? Yeah. The veterinary courses, they are not recognized. Our veterinary courses in Fiji. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yes, that's the essence of my question. If our lessons or the courses being taught are not recognized, what is the way forward there from your end? Because see, there's a majority of students who want to be veterinarians. So the Minister of Agriculture was sharing this with me. He's a veterinarian himself. And he was telling me that the courses that they are now being taught, they are not recognized. So why are they being taught? No, something like that. Because if our students want to be veterinarians, but the courses that are being taught are not recognized to be veterinarians, how do you adjust that as the institution who is supposed to be oversight for these institutions of higher education learning? What's the way forward there?
So the way forward there, sir, we suggest to institutions before they even go through the process of developing a program, they need to do their own due diligence. Since some of the qualifications are regulated by law, and even for professional registration, those would be conditional to the stipulations of the relevant legislation.
Okay, because the thing that worries me, because when the funding comes, it's too late for that. Yes. That's what worries me. And the funding comes from government. You already passed the floodgates. Probably something that you may look into. There's 49 registered institutions, Director. How do you determine who gets the funding, who gets the big funding, who gets the small funding? In fact, there are 49 institutions. How do you determine that? How do you determine who gets which amount? Is this based on their proposal, or how do you determine the funding?
Honorable Sir and Mr. Chairman, Honorable Chairman, as I've already alluded to, there is a formula. So
okay.
all the funding, all the 49, if they're all registered, they apply. If only those that fit into or completed in compliance with the criteria, we submit.
Okay.
We submit. So I think this year, for the funding this year, for example, a total about 35 of the 49 submitted, but only far less that are eligible for that funding. So, but we even submitted, and even when it came out at the announcement of the budget on the day, even the number fell right down, and some that we didn't even fund actually were actually on board. So that I'm not really sure what actually the other pathway. So when they didn't come through, we are the only legislated institution in Fiji to give out funding on behalf of Fiji government to be able to our institutions. So any other Anybody else giving, allowing funding to go through is not legally allowed to be able to do that. Do so, sir.
Very interesting. So you can be registered, but you're not eligible. Thank you. Thank you, Director.
Just following on my colleagues, can you reveal those institutions who were not recommended by your commission, but the funds were released?
For this year, sir?
Yeah, because you have said that there were some institution without your recommendation, and you were surprised to hear and see in the budget that they were given funding. So can you reveal the names of those institutions which were not recommended by commission, but they got the funding? Thank you.
There were about 2 or 3 off the head that didn't come through, or if they came through, it's either late or they didn't meet the requirement. So, Honorable Chairman, sir, and honorable members of the committee, off the cuff, I can mention Service Pro International and is it and Polytech. So those are the 2 that came through, but because they did meet the criteria, it was not recommended. Sir.
Chair, through you, as you have said that you are the authority in terms of these institutions. So can we say that that grant has been illegally given to these institutions?
I guess rightfully, Honorable Bala and Honorable Chairman, sir. In a way, I would say yes. It didn't come through our system because we didn't recommend anything because they didn't meet the requirement. So for that matter, I would say yes to that in my capacity as the Director of the Commission.
Thank you, Director. On a lighter note, in recent times, there has been a headline on the FNU, I believe, FNU and USP rejecting the findings of the Commission. So has those issues been addressed?
Honorable Chairman, sir, and Honorable Bala and honorable members, for that case that didn't come to us, for the case of FNU, it's not to our memory that we can recall for that particular case. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Director. Just concerned about the work that you do, and first of all, thank you to your team for the hard work being put through so far for the Education Commission. Just wanted to know, in order to enhance the capability of Higher Education Commission, you've mentioned in your presentation that sometimes these higher institutions, they were given the freedom to do whatever they want, but later they realize that there are regulations and policies in place from the Higher Education Commission that they need to follow. Does the team believe, or do you believe that there's more power needed to be vested in the Commission in order to get these actions going? The work that you do, going a step further. Or like at the moment, you can't go a step further because you are just there. Your limitations are within the work that you do. But in order to get those actions going and continue for the Education Commission, do you think that you need more powers in order to execute the work that you do?
Thank you so much, Honorable Aliki, Honorable Chairman, sir, and honorable members. Like I've mentioned earlier on, our act was established in 2008, and it's currently under review, and it's still very much limiting. And based on the question, yes, definitely, we would love to see that we can flex some muscle to ensure that we can capture to have the power to be able to capture some of the things that are now with almost 20 years in existence. Some of things that are sort of loose, so we cannot do that unless we change our legislation. And we hope to get this legislation through to Parliament, hopefully by this year, if possible, for the review, the Cabinet and to Parliament. And there are some criticals. The education sector has actually moved to another level for the last 5 years, and 5-10 years. And there are systems that have actually in place within our higher education systems, institutions, that our law limits the way we can come in to help execute some of those key requirements. Like, for example, right now there's a talk of artificial intelligence to almost institutions, and all of them are not doing that. It just came about 2-3 years ago. And there's nothing specific in that in our law, for example. So it's a big shift, and the industry has actually shifted to another level for the last 5-10 years. And most of our institutions are still delivering what was 10-20 years ago. Just an example, if you drive a car on the road some 20 years ago, most of the engines of those cars would be 4-stroke cycle engines. Right? Now, no more. It's all hybrid cars with automated. Soon on our roads, you're going to have electric. Already, I think already have electric cars and all forms of transportation. So the industry has shifted, and we need to continue to play the game to be on par with what the industries are demanding, sir.
Sorry, I'm just worried about accreditation. Sorry, I'll just have to take us back.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry. I just have to be honest, Director.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. I'm worried about accreditation because we are teaching lessons that are not accredited. You know, that's the biggest worry. You are an academic, sir. This should be a worry of yours. Institutions that bring up courses that are not accredited, yet they get funding. This does not seem to fit in my understanding. You know, can they be taken to task? Can they be taken to law? What can be done? Because we cannot be going in this way, because that's very poor. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, I stand to be corrected. But it makes me worried for myself. I'm a graduate of USP. I hold a Bachelor of Laws. Now I'm worried. Is the courses that were taught to be accredited? No, let's just be. What about the other thousands that came through our very own institutions? Other lessons that taught accredited? That's my worry. Sorry, I had to take us back because this is the only opportune time that we have with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And
that's good.
probably for the benefit of for us who will be taking this report to Parliament, we will eventually debate this. I'm just worried about accreditation. I'm seriously worried about that. So if these institutions are teaching non-accredited lessons, what is being done to them? Is there a slap on the wrist or something? Or how can they be taken to task? Please, you are the experts in this.
Honorable Chair, let me just start and hopefully Annie can pick on.
Yes.
Honorable Chairman, sir, and honorable members, Commission was just established in 2011. So most of these institutions were there 100 years ago, like FNU, for example. USP 60 years now, right? So I remember the time in my last life when I was there. When I came to USP, they said, "Who are you to come and tell me what to do? You just born yesterday." So we had to engage. Well, I used the word engage instead of, because we just legislated. So there was a provisional accreditation law that was there that we managed to capture. That's why Honorable Ali Kimbe's point is very important. It gives that provisional accreditation when an institution has been registered. So that gives that leeway, that freedom of about 8 months for that program to be provisionally accredited, and that took ages. For USP, for example, which has about almost 400 plus or so programs, it took our time. I only have 2 staff sitting on my right that do program accreditation. So they do recordings. So the thing about the universities, they do recording. It's a little bit faster because we trust that they do their own internal QA and external QA in terms of the programs. But well and truly, you're right, Honorable Arambure. But over the years, we managed to speed up the process. When I came back just 3 months ago, there's a huge improvement. I remember the Bachelor of Laws, when we took that on board, the commission went to Vanuatu, MLO campus, and the USP asked the question, why do you have to go there? That's a different country. It's not because of Vanuatu, it's a different country. It's because of Fijian students studying in Vanuatu. We want to know, how are they looked after? What's the program like? Mr. Ngataki was the commissioner at the time, about this time as well, led the team that went over there. Likewise for all in some of agriculture, Bachelor of Agriculture. So the commission really concerned about this program, and accreditation is slow. I've been asking our commission to give us more energy in terms of funding so that I can get in more staff who can go. So right now we have changed our approach a little bit. Instead of waiting institutions to come to us, our team have been going out, spending half day, a couple of hours with USP, FNU to try to fast track the process of accreditation. Your point, sir, is very important, because once a qualification is accredited, then that can go right across the globe. Right. It can join any workforce for that matter. And Tokyo Convention comes in play for that matter as well. So I cannot, again, reiterate what Honorable Aramburi is saying. The criticalness of accreditation, accrediting a program of our citizens, of our people as they move across. Now, Australia, New Zealand, a lot of our people are moving across, and that's critical. And then again, just to follow on to what your question earlier on, in terms of the qualification recognized in other countries, we also have what is called country sovereignty. We cannot tell Australia that our level 3 is also the level 3. They will tell us your level 3 is our level 2. Your degree at level 7 is our diploma. So it is their prerogatives as a sovereignty as a nation. Right. Likewise for those coming to us. But again, we talk, because we talk at the level with our Australia qualifications framework, as how best we can equate that to the same level, and took a little bit of time. So we have a department, a team that looks after the program evaluation of external qualification coming into Fiji. So our people slowly graduating from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from Singapore, coming in. How do we equate that? So we use the framework language, level 10, and see how can we get that. But we have the final say. If they are degree at level 7, we can even raise it up to level 8, or postgraduate maybe honorary degree at level 8, or even coming down at level 6, a diploma at level 6. Thank you, sir.
Very big work.
That's all I leave.
Paul Nangata?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Director, and your team. I have one question on the recognition of caregiver qualifications. We are aware that one of the challenges you face in the years under review was the temporary suspension of caregiver training programs due to concerns about the lack of job opportunities for graduates. Would you be able to update us and the public on the progress of your work with international partners in exploring alternative pathways for graduates and to identify areas where their skills could be utilized?
Thank you, Honorable Pate. Honorable Chairman, sir, and members of the honorable members. I'm not sure whether I can answer that because of the duration of this report we are focusing, but just for information, just to give you just for information, I know the media is also here. You also know that last year we closed 13 caregiving higher education institutions, 13. This is actually due to an excessive graduate coming out from the 13 institutions. So there was a blanket umbrella to close them from this. They were just open again 3-4 weeks ago, based on the request and the demand from the people that are going into to the minister, even to the prime minister for that matter. So, but it was not given just open like that. We set aside a 6 months monitoring, and they were actually, we revisited them again to ensure that they have the key requirements to be able to deliver the right requirement. But apparently it was closed because of almost 3,800 graduates. They have the qualification in caregiving, but apparently they couldn't find employment in Fiji. Likewise, they were promised employment in Australia and New Zealand. So because of that, we are currently reviewing the delivery, and we are tracking carefully. Even though they've been given the umbrella approval, now it's It's going one by one as per school of the 13 that are now currently delivering the aged care program. And it's critical because they ensure most of these are sort of private programs, private provider programs that are currently delivered. And some claim that it came from Australia, or delivering Australian qualifications. Apparently, when they graduated, they could not match into the Australian market in the area of caregiving. Sir, thank you so much.
Director, sorry. Oh, you finished. What is it? This one was,
Oh, sorry. Furthermore, Mr. Honorable Chairman, sir, just to add on to that, we are currently working with Pacific Australia Skills. You would remember APTC one time, they were here for almost 20 years. Asia Pacific Training Coalition, yeah. They have closed their registration. They're no longer here. But we got in place Pacific Australia Skills. They're coming in full force, but this time we're working closely with them to provide this bridge to help our students. So not only going across, but Pacific TAFE, USP Pacific TAFE, and Queensland TAFE is coming on board. USP TAFE has promised Honorable Angata to provide training to these 3,800 students free of charge with the support of Pacifica Australia Skills. So we've been promised, they have currently just signed an MOU. We're just waiting in a couple of weeks' time to roll out this program. So we're going to support them, Honorable Chairman, sir, to identify the whereabouts of this 3,800 graduates. Some are working, but we have to identify the others. So we'll try all means with our communications team, try to get in touch with the parents of these graduates to ensure that we get them to either Queensland TAFE or USP TAFE for the support to be able to align them to Australian market and New Zealand market, likewise for our own local market and also in the Pacific. Thank you, sir.
Director, sorry, just a quick last one. I'm just going through the report and I'm looking at national qualifications. Yeah, how many national qualifications do we have in Fiji?
162, Honorable Olamburi. 162. It's quite a lot, yeah.
So 162 are offered. Do you offer them to institutions?
They are offered free of charge. They are national qualifications. We facilitate the development. Actually, the industries that develop those 106. So we're talking about caregiving, deployment caregiving, counseling, all the trades, heavy commercial, heavy mobile, automotive mechanic, agriculture, aircraft maintenance, bus driving certificate 4, say basic security operation level 2, deck watch rating for seafarers, even small boat operation, so we have a certificate level 1 for them. So these are all national qualifications that are available. So we are currently championing this to our vocational schools. So we are reaching out to our vocational schools for them to take this on board because they're already been pre-accredited. It's gone through all the rig of all the key requirements. Total about 72 already in terms of qualifications rigor for them to go through.
Very good. Naka, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, sir. There are two types of qualifications, sir. One is a provider qualification that are developed by the institutions. So that one go through Annie and the team in terms of accreditation. They go through detail. But the other is the national qualification. That's one that we are currently championing. Yesterday, we've just signed some kind of an agreement with our provincial officers. So now the whole 14 provinces have been identified. We're going to take this across to our provinces to identify the provincial schools so that they can take also this on board with the support of Nandavi. They are registered under Nandavi, CATD. So we have an agreement with also Itoke Affairs. The Minister for Itoke was also there as well, and the Permanent Secretary.
Is this similar to what FNU does when the FNU usually goes around to rural areas? I was in Vanuatu when I met this. They came down to Ndao village for 1 week, teaching people in changing chainsaw and all that. Is it similar to this?
It's slightly different, sir.
Oh.
Actually, it's totally not slightly different. It's not accredited. It's not a qualification. It's a non-award. So non-award meaning it falls below the 40 credits or 400 hours of learning. So short courses, anything less than 3 months and 2 weeks is not a qualification. So you give them a certificate of participation, certificate of attendance, or certificate of competency. A qualification, a full certificate, certificate level 1 in counseling, certificate level 3 in boat building, a Bachelor of Commerce, a Bachelor of Law, a master's degree in economics, for example. That's a full-fledged qualification. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, Chair, through you. Just the last one from my end, Director. I've noted that there's a revocation process. So what are the process involved for the Commission to determine that an institution needs their license be revoked?
I'll get Limi to, sir, I'll get Limi.
Yes, Honorable Aliki, for the revocation process, it normally is applies to the institution that has been registered, fully registered, and not operating for more than 5 or 6 years, 2 to 5 years. So when the institution are not registered, then the quality assurance team at the Higher Education Commission will go for a follow-up. Like there's a process that we have to follow, and then we have to write a paper to the board for the close-up of the particular institution. It has to be removed from our registration, registered, which is known as NIC, National Information Center.
So does it involve those who do not meet the requirements also?
When the Honorable...
Sorry, there are some that are in existence, but are not complying to the requirements from Fiji Education Commission. So do they go through the revocation process as well?
Not really, sir. After registration, the institution will run for 5 years, and there will be a review process. So for that, within that period of 5 years, the quality assurance team will do a thorough follow-up process for the institution to comply to the criteria that they were not compliance for. But for the revocation applies to those that are not operating at all.
Thank you very much, honourable members. I believe maybe I'll ask the last question. I got no limitation for that, as most of the question has been asked by the honourable members. Based on the report, on the year stated on this report, there's a lot that's been discussed when you talk about the whole operations of the commissions. Before, after our discussion this afternoon, the honourable members will go back to the drawing board and how we'll look at our key findings based on the report. From there, then we will derive our recommendation. And third will be tabled in Parliament before deliberation on the debate, part of it. For our public consultation today, then look at how we ask the questions. You can figure it out. So we are almost in deliberating in Parliament. That's normal to the committee, but for me personally, in order for us to finalize a good recommendation to Parliament, and looking at your challenges, there's a lot that's been discussed today. If you try to put it in a matrix system, what are the top 5 priority challenges that you want us to be incorporated in our report's recommendation? If you can provide now, or if you want to get back to us after we discuss today, the floor is open to you. Director.
Honourable Chairman, sir, and honourable members, my head, before I'll ask the team, number one is the budget, our budget allocation. There's a real need. Now we've expanded to the north to look after our people from the north. Honourable is here from Taviuni, and all our members from Vonolebo. And also not forgetting our western, the Vu Valley, and how best. We also have an office now in Lotoka to look after our people all the way from Yasawa Rara, who over the years have been traveling over to Suwa, and people from Undu Point, the village of Tawaki or Wainika, coming to seek clarification on a program, accreditation, or how can they get their son or their daughter to USP. Is critical. So I would say budget is underpinning for this year for information, sir. We were slashed for 1 million in terms of budget, so that actually is going to lock us in the things that we do. We had a finalizing our SDP and our KPIs for last year to before the beginning, last 2 weeks ago, before the beginning of financial year. We have significantly cut back our expenses in terms of projections for the new financial year. To be able to maintain the machinery, to be able to work that, apart from funding, we'll need more capital, human resources. So we'll need more people, more for staff. This skill is like the skill in accreditation, you can learn it. Nobody in any university in the world. It's a specific skill. We have to retrain our people. For me, myself, it took me 12 years. I've been moving across Australia, New Zealand, Singapore during my days to learn the skill of accreditation. Not easy to accredit a program. We have to specifically build the capacity of our people. And I'm glad our people are still here, so enhance the resources, the manpower. So I just want to thankful to government so far for what's been supporting us through realizing that our critical position in government and in Fiji in providing the demand side before our people move on to the world of work. Legislation review is number 2, sir. So number 3. We are currently going through that, and I would love to see as a propose as the need right now to amend our legislation to align to the current demands of education in the sector, the higher education sector specifically. So that's critical. Now we are moving towards the vocational schools. We are targeting all the secondary schools in Fiji to look after our people. So our national qualifications, sirs, have also been going across the secondary schools. We are championing and ensure that no one is left behind in that area. Still on that, they've gone to legislation review, also the review of the Fiji qualifications framework with smaller non-award programs or micro qualifications. At some countries they call it micro credentials. There is nothing in place to look after them on the framework. So we are currently reviewing together with the legislation to ensure that are also captured in the qualifications, the 10-level qualifications framework. So our current law legislation allows us only award conferring. So we'll have to include award and non-award, which is other below certificate level 1 non-awards.
Director, if I can just cut short there.
Sure, sir.
Just for the benefit of the members, what is the current status of your review? Is it in cabinet or still doing consultation? Because the powers we have, we can help push to facilitate. Just so that we can have a fair idea of what is the current status.
Tina, who's actually behind the legislation review the process.
Pinaka, Honorable Chair and members. The current update, we've finalized the majority of our stakeholder consultations. We're in the process of having one more internal consultation with the staff because additional provisions have come about to be included or considered to be recommended. We had received a directive that we were to also liaise with the committee that's looking at the review of the Education Act. So we're currently working with them, and then we hope to finalize and submit our minute to our line minister by end of year.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member, Secretariat, and the team from the Higher Education Commission. We take this opportunity times to thank you very much for adhering to the request that actually comes from the committee. At this juncture, we already thank you for that public hearing here, which was actually live. We thank you for your time and hope that you will avail yourself. For any other further queries or clarification from the committee that they may see fit to justify other pending issues that comes after these presentations. We'll communicate to you through our secretariat. And for the committee members, I believe the report now is 100% clear to us. Remember, we only that part, reading and try to adjust ourselves. That's why there's a lot of correspondence going in and out to understand the report first before we actually do our key findings, recommendation, and table it to Parliament And the beauty part, we will deliberate on this. So while emphasizing on what your challenges are, it will really help us out, because that will be the issue there inside that house when both parties are in parliament. And that will, it can spearhead, it can speed up the processes for what actually inspired from this committee through the parliament on the recommendation to make it happen and fast track on the council. On that note, I try to conclude this presentation on a high note, and we thank you very much. And I now close this public hearing session. Assalamu alaikum.